love to discuss about chord melody and with Misty. Misty, it's a great tune, great melody, and sometimes with guitar we tend to practice the grips chord that doesn't work perfectly with the melody, right? Sometimes these kind of chords clash with the melody, so it's a great thing to understand how to practice this kind of chords with the melody. The basic melody for Misty is a very, very nice melody and goes like, basically it's a triad, see the minor triad going down, so see? Okay, so in this particular etude that you will find in the PDF and on my Substack page, I start with a basic B flat 7 at 13, or you can even start with a 7 chord like this. It's nice. So I can play like, or with the 13 is kind of better because you have the melody here, right? So or you can play a sub like E7, the Andrews chord. So it could be like, and finally resolve into the E flat major 7. I like to play this kind of chord because you have the 9 also, the F, so it really sounds kind of more open chord. You can also play the basic E flat major triad, say, with the 7 on top. So let's see. It's nice, right? Then you have, okay, so going to the, this is a very basic guide notes chord, playing the 9. I like to play the guide notes like this. Alright? Okay, the melody is going down here, right? It's basically like a triad, right? So E flat major triad. Alright, you can eventually play maybe an inversion for E flat major. So I'm playing here with the G on the bass. So play, because you're gonna have the melody here, so you have this lead ring effect, right? And okay, and here the melody is super important, of course, is the major third for A flat major, that is the 4th, right, degree in the key of E flat. This is another concept, a thing that is really, really important to know and understand when you practice a tune, a standard tune like this, is getting to know exactly how each chord is related to the other one. So in this particular case, we have E flat major, first, 2 5 of the 4, right? Then you have this. This is kind of a minor 4th, right? So the 4th minor. Eventually, you can think about this like the flat 7 of the key as well, right? So this is E flat major 7, and you think about D flat 7 going back to the 1, right? So this is the flat 7 of the key, so D flat 7. And right, so this is super important thing to understand. So how to relate chords to the other one, right? So having the 1, the 4, the 3rd, the 2 5, the 4. So all this kind of thing, of course, we want to know. But the topic for this particular podcast is just explaining you this etude and how to approach this kind of things together, and keeping the melody in the top, and of course trying to use the material in a creative way to create your own arrangement, and eventually, of course, improvising using this material. So from the top. See, or eventually, like I said, go here. Okay, and perhaps resolving here. I love this voicing, you know, it's like A flat, the major 6, and the melody is C on the top, right? The major 3rd. And then eventually you can add the flat later. But this kind of chord doesn't work so good, you know, because the tendency is to play you know, you have to play the C note here. You know, like the top voice is C. We don't want this, right? So that's why I stick with this particular chord here. So, alright, and then perhaps you can play first inversion on A flat major, that is this. Really love this chord. You can see this as a C minor 7 flat 6, but in this case, in this particular case, is actually A flat major 7 with the 3rd on the bottom, right? Okay. Okay, and okay, this is the melody. We can arrange this. I'm sorry, this note like this. Fit very well because you have basic D flat 7, first inversion, and 1. Or eventually, if you're here in this position, you can play the same thing here. So let's say from here. See? Sorry. Yeah. I'll play the F minor with the minor 3rd on top. You have the C here. See? Alright, for A flat minor 7 you play and then this. See? You know, I use this chord a lot. It's basically an F minor, and you know, you have to double the minor 3rd. Sounds really cool. And this particular case is great because the melody is the minor 3rd. So, okay, this is kind of an inversion for F minor. So if you know the basic drop 3, F minor, this is the first inversion, right? So back from A flat. B flat 7 with a flat 9, super cool chord. Becomes sus4, and the melody goes to G. This is the first handing, right? So you can keep this, right? So I have a G minor 7. That actually could be a dominant chord as well, right? So become C7. You can keep the G to F7. These are guide notes for A7 of F7. Sorry. See, you can eventually play also the C sharp. That is the sharp 11 for F7. So, and then so you keep the G. This is B flat 7, right? See, B flat 7 with the G on top, and back to the melody. This, and this time perhaps we wanna add some nice chord here. B flat 7, very Joe-Bass chord. You know, this basic altered chord, like sharp 5, sharp 9 chord. You can see this is the bass. You know, 3rd 7, sharp 9, tonic on the top, and the sharp 5 is here, right? So eventually, right? And again. First inversion. Oh wow! I can play here like let's say again from here. Yeah. Oh, you know, this become yeah, from A flat. I'm playing C minor, ending with E flat major, right? The second ending. Alright, so the second ending finishing with the first degree, right? So E flat major 7 and to the 4 minor, right? So A flat minor 6 in this case, right? Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to the 1. And here you can go like, you know, like playing some 6. The 6 interval is always a great interval to use to harmonize a melody, right? The beat section starting with this. Cool melody, right? And you can play this with 6, like. So, you know, eventually you can play like. Here you can play like, you know, some movement. You know, like the 7, the toning going to the major 7, 7, and then E flat 7, flat 9. Sorry. I love this chord. This chord is basically A flat major 7 with a 9. Basically you play the A flat major with the 9 and the tonic. Really love this. And then changing here, right? The key center, going to A minor 7. And I played this very nice A minor 7 11, D7 sharp 5, right? This is a very cool 2-5 movement to know. And so let me get the B section here, what I wrote. Oh yeah, so this is like A minor 11. I play this, but you can also play D, 7 13. Because you have the melody inside the chord, see? So you can keep the chords going, right? So, and then F7. I'm sorry. Or you can play down. You know, up is in the high register. With this guitar, is super easy, you know, because super easy to get here. And then G. I do this a lot. Like playing the G minor 7 flat 5 and playing the C7 flat 9, so I keep the flat 9 here, see? Of course this is a flat 5th and become flat 9, F7 to B flat and to E flat again. So this particular case is like this. And I wrote the F7 because I want to keep the B flat 7 here. So this is kind of a F7 sus4. And here I can keep the B flat, you know, and playing the guide notes on this set of strings, so E and A. And this eventually you can add the sharp 5, right? The same sound of this, you perhaps know this particular chord, but up here it's like this, right? Pretty nice. So coming from A minor, then F, and you play G, minor 7 flat 5, C7 flat 9, then F7 sus4, see, and back to the, you know, the first melody, the A, right? Play this, C, and then eventually right. So lot of stuff, lot of things to discover in this particular etude, and I think it's a great way for practicing new chords, like I said, and trying different combination. So you don't have to play this etude like it's written. You can eventually take some chords, you know, some nice 2/5 that you like, perhaps, you know, this kind of, and use this material like, you know, for practicing 2/5, like in different area of the neck. It's a really nice approach as well, right? So eventually you like this, and I can play the same concept here, right? So I have, what's that, E minor to A7 alto, or D minor to G7 alto. If it's too much for you, like, you know, too much chords, you just take, you know, melody and the guy notes, and it's gonna be fine. You don't have to play big chords, of course. You can also play, let's say, and then like this, right? It sounds super cool. And then yeah, so it could be anything, right? It could be, really, it's up to you if you like to play beat chords, and you know, I think the variety is the key, really, and you know, keep your routine busy, you know, having different stuff to practice, and you know, and of course the curiosity is the most important thing in music, right? Alright, so thanks for, if you're watching from YouTube, please remember to subscribe to this channel, and thanks also for subscribing to my Substack page, and I'll see you very, very soon.